Hey guys, how's it going? It is my different username here, and today I'm going to be showing you a weapon that I probably haven't even thought of building ever since 5 years ago when I first started building weapons. And before, when I tried to build it, I couldn't really finish it because the design was too complex for me at the time. But now, finally, with my knowledge of guns and everything like that, I was able to build this, the F2000 from Battlefield 4. The FN F2000 is a bullpup assault rifle created by a Belgian company known as FN Herstal. It's actually the same company that made the Scar H, and what's interesting about the F2000 are the many models that actually come with it. There are different ones, including the one known as the F2000 Tactical, which is actually the one that they've used in Battlefield 4. So we're going to go into depth with this model and see what it has. The F2000 has a crazy design. It almost looks like something you would see in a sci-fi movie. But anyway, when it comes down to it, the reason this is the F2000 Tactical is simply because of the three-sided rail system right next to the handguard. There's really nothing else. It's still the fully automatic assault rifle that you would normally see on just the regular F2000 model. And when it comes to it, there's just a lot of key things to this weapon that make it very unique, like the push style trigger that I actually have. I've only made that before on my Steyr AEG in the past, and also it even has the disassembly pin and everything. The magazine released the logo on the side of the mag well too, as well as the sling around the stock, and just a lot of details here and there just showing off all over the rifle. Right here we have the stock of the F2000, and as you can tell, it is very sturdy due to the huge mass of Legos attached to it. It's also smooth on the top, which makes aiming down the sights wonderful. And also, as you can tell, the sling mount is attached to the back because of this sling attachment wrapped around the gun. And it's really nice because originally there was no sling mount in the back, only in the front, which makes it easy to attach a sling to this gun finally. And also, another thing, as you probably noticed, is the fact that the sling attachment is made of base plates. It's really nice. One problem with it though is the fact that some of the base plates actually hides more details of the gun under it, which is kind of a bad thing. But then again, this is just the way Battlefield 4 detailed it, so that's how I did it with my model. Moving on, now we have the front part of the gun, which is also, in my book, the ugliest part. As you can tell, you have the gas piston system in the front, and then you have the ugliest muzzle brake I've probably ever seen on a weapon. I'm not kidding. I feel this on my Lego model and the real one. There's also the ejection port in the front, which is actually cool, but just the barrel, I don't know, it just kind of kills it for me. I don't know about you guys. Moving on to the other features of this weapon, including the charging handle. As you can tell, you can simply pull it back just like a regular one, or you can even take into consideration of locking it into place by simply tilting it upwards, and you can even slap it down in order to charge it forward. It's cool. If you open up the breeching cover, you can actually see the bullet of the magazine as it's being loaded. As you can tell, the sight just broke up. But anyway, you can see the bullet inside of it right now. And if I close that really quickly and just slap that forward, you can tell it chambered it. Pretty cool. I really like this design that I made. The F2000 fires the same ammunition as the M16, which is 5.56 by 45. Now, when it comes to the magazine's designs for both of these weapons, normally when I make a mag for the M16, I usually make it in sections of bricks known as 5, 3, 3, 3. But when it comes to the magazines for the F2000, I make them in 7, 3, 3, which is slightly different from mags used in M16s, and it almost makes a real-life example of how magazines actually work for the F2000. When it comes to the iron sights of this monstrosity, as you can tell, it's pretty difficult to aim these down, and if it's one thing, they're not even the best looking iron sights. I almost have a really hard time aiming these down, so luckily I was actually able to make a scope for this. If we simply take off these iron sights, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about right here. And here we have the traditional scope for the F2000. This is a very interesting scope. I mean, it really is. It's really smooth. It even has a few different names that I've heard from different people, like Mars sight, but I would just like to simply call it a 1.6 times scope. And when it comes to the reticle of this, obviously it's a lot different than the actual one seen in game and used in real life, but I still like it no matter what because you can clearly see what you're aiming at. Now, when it comes to a situation where a bullet happens to destroy the scope, you can simply use the backup iron sights that sit on top. They're actually a lot better than the ones that you normally see on the weapon, which is pretty funny. It's just simply because of the high profile, really nothing else. And what's also neat about the scope is just how simple it is to remove and add. Simply just take it off and look at that. You have your tactical rail and you can even put your iron sights back on. All I can really say about the rifle is that the concept is very strange. It does have a lot of pros, but also a lot of cons as well. But what I also want to say about it is the fact that in the beginning, I almost didn't like this rifle, but after getting to know it a lot more and finishing the model, I actually enjoyed it a lot. So now, all I can really ask is, how does this shoot? Well, let's go out of our way and find out. So subscribe to see more Battlefield 4 weapons, like, favorite, and comment if you have enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching.